Hey guys, a couple things. First of all, a lot of you know that this summer has been both wonderful and challenging for me. A lot of you know that my wife and I gave birth to baby Thor, who's just over 7 weeks old as we record this video. But most of you know as well that my mom passed and that my dad isn't doing too well, nor is my wife's father. And so we've been challenged very profoundly, to say the least. One of the things that's been helping me significantly this last couple weeks is a book that was passed on to me by Jordan Grotzinger called Resilience. And it has been a book that's been recommended to me innumerable times by a variety of people, but finally Jordan just put it in my hands and I've been reading it. And in the book, there's several passages that hit me very deeply. One of the passages that has really made an impact on me in the last couple of weeks is a conversation about the questions we ask ourselves when we're being our best selves. And in the book, the author, Eric Greitens, basically reframes a series of questions that we ask ourselves. Very often, we ask, how are we feeling, what kind of action we're going to take, and then therefore what kind of identity that we'll create. And in the book, he reverses that conversation, and he says, well, what if you ask yourself, who are you going to be, then take action to serve that, and inevitably you're going to feel most likely better about whatever identity you've chosen. And the act of choosing your identity takes a high level of consciousness, and that's something that I'm really hoping that we embark upon and endeavor for endlessly here at CFLA. In fact, that's one of the reasons why we're calling ourselves the School of Mastery, is that I view this as a 20-year project, if you will. And in that long project are questions like these. Again, this is just some basic architecture that's currently helping me get through a ridiculously difficult time. But it's also relevant to what we do here at the gym. For example, who am I going to be on a competition day or mental toughness day is often very obvious. You're going to ask yourselves, am I going to be a person of grit? Am I going to be somebody who can work through with mental tenacity or toughness? Can I commit myself to a game plan? And on many levels, those things are challenging, but they're very easy to sort of identify them in the context of competition and mental toughness. I think that in many ways, the most difficult part about our mindset setting here at CrossFit LA is how we set our minds on practice days. And practice days are very easy for a lot of people to be sort of throwaway days or not, quote, real CrossFit workouts. And I beg to differ. In fact, I think some of the most excellent questions can be asked of yourself. For example, what kind of teammate are you going to be to the other people in your class? What kind of player are you going to be for the class that you're in? And those are excellent questions to ask. What's more is that on a practice day, you're allowed to experiment and play with and learn and dial in small technique things that you can't possibly endeavor towards on a competition day or mental toughness day. And to me, the daily practice is where our most profound growth comes from. Again, these are big life pieces, but I think that they're applicable, especially on the practice days. So, on the practice days, I always ask this of everybody, most notably myself, am I a coachable person? And that question stands for everybody at the gym, everybody going to any class. Are you coachable? Are you willing to learn? Are you willing to change one little wrist mechanic, one little elbow mechanic, one little knee, ankle, hip mechanic that can move you towards greater safety, a program of longevity and health and fitness? Really, that's what we're at. I'm going to be hammering at this for another 17 years, so this might be a conversation that you become very bored by, but just know that that's where we're going. And I hope that you ask yourself and think about some of these considerations. Having said that, let's get to the week at hand. Monday, we've got ourselves a competition day. It's a combination of pull-ups and wall ball. It's pretty straightforward. It's 10 minutes of work, and it's going to be hard any way you cut it physically. Tuesday, we're going to be seeing some inverted burpees. So there's some question on the inverted burpees. What qualifies as a full rep? Well, really, if you have the total body mobility to do so, the rep would basically be you're actually touching your toes on the ground behind you on the bottom half of the movement, and then at the top end of the movement, your legs are extended, your hips are open, and your legs are completely locked out with your heels on the wall, fully extended, whole body fully extended. And that is effectively a full rep. But based on your mobility or your mobility issues, there may be some alternatives to that full, very, very dynamic range of movement. On Wednesday, we're going to be seeing some handstand push-ups and also some double unders in a competition format. Now, we're going to be really moving on double under practice for those of you that don't have it, just for timed efforts. Rather than giving you some vague sort of number to hit, we'll just say work for X amount of time on your double unders. Your coaches will give that to you in your classes, but just know that that's the direction that we're moving if you're still learning those double unders. On Thursday, we're going to see those weighted chin-ups as well as some more pull mechanics on the barbell, so make sure that you take care of your biceps and your lats. And finally, on Friday, you're going to be seeing some heavy thrusters and some handstand work. We're ideally progressing many members of the gym to some handstand walking come the winter. That's part of why we're doing a lot of these inverted burpees and some of this handstand stuff. This is the 6th week of Cycle 9, and we will be going into the second half of the algorithm starting next week. Thanks for tuning in, you guys. I love all of you, and here's to a great book, Resilience. I encourage all to pick it up, no matter what age or where you're at in life. Peace.